Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us live. And if you're watching this on replay, we're excited that you are watching this again. My name is Lola Adeyemo. I am an employee resource group consultant, and I also have a nonprofit called Immigrant Incorporate. I partner with organizations to build inclusive workplaces. And I'm going to take a quick walk around the room to have all the amazing trailblazing women on with me today introduce themselves and their current role. Sandra, do you want to go?
Yes, thank you, Lola, and welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm Sandra Ainsley, CEO of Girls Inc. of San Diego County. And I'll popcorn to Melissa.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melissa Seipel, and I run a leadership consulting and coaching business called MS Coaching and Consulting, or Ms. Consulting and Coaching for short. Nice to be here and see everybody. I'm also vice president of the board, Girls Inc. San Diego. Andrea, I'll pop it over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I recently retired from Biosero after being Chief Operating Officer there for 14 years. Prior to that, I worked at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory for 10 years, and I negotiated contracts for various Mars projects there. Currently, I'm the board president of Girls Inc. San Diego, and have been serving on the board for the past 4 years.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And it's Women History Month, so I wanted to make sure that we captured what everyone on the call is doing in their day job before we get into our why. Again, I think that's a huge part of this journey for us is, for me, I have a STEM background, scientist by discipline, and worked in the biotech space, and I loved finding an organization that was very passionate and engaged with corporate organizations building the STEM pipeline, showing a lot of girls that women can be it, being able to show them what is possible career wise. So that's why I love Girls Inc. That's why I joined. So I'll let everyone do the same. Can you share why you joined Girls Inc. and what you love about Girls Inc.? So Andrea, we can go around.
Sure. So when I first was introduced to the organization, there were two things that really resonated with me. One was the community that they served. As a Mexican American woman whose mom was a migrant worker and whose dad came from simple means, I could really relate to the girls' struggles. And two, I really loved how Girls Inc. identified and attacked the issues serving these underserved and underrepresented girls. They put a tremendous amount of thought and effort into how they structured the organization in order to maximize their impact on these girls. As an example, Girls Inc. does not just offer one class. They serve the entire girl over several years. They partner with several of the schools within the San Diego community area and provide programming on site during the school day or immediately after school. This strategy really cemented my desire to be part of the board because I truly feel that this multi-year approach provides the greatest chance for the girls' success.
Thank you, Andrea. Melissa?
Wow. Well, I think for me, I have to go back a little ways to when I was a little girl. I was raised by a single mom, like a lot of us, and she had the strength to leave my dad, who was an alcoholic, when she was only 22. I was 3 years old, and it wasn't easy for her, but I really saw her. She went back to get her bachelor's degree. She earned her master's degree. So I really saw what it meant to have a strong woman. And as a little girl, I was fearless. I was a tomboy playing with the boys in the neighborhood. And then, I don't know, something shifted, around sixth grade. Like, this is what happens to girls, where you sort of start to question things and lose confidence in your abilities. I know I won a science fair in sixth grade, and then I kind of just stopped pursuing STEM. I didn't have a mentor or anyone to say, hey, maybe you should think about this. And I think if I had a Girls Inc. in my small town in Missouri, I don't know, who knows what I would be doing. So I feel like what Girls Inc. offers is just incredible. And after college, I did go, my first job was working for Planned Parenthood, another organization doing amazing things for women. And it is in my DNA just to really fight for women's equity and to be there for women. And that's why 6 years ago, after about 20 years in HR, kind of climbing the proverbial ladder, I decided to launch my own business, helping women step into leadership roles, because I feel like when more women are at the table, the entire planet will benefit. So I'm very passionate about that, and having that ability to sort of step back from a little bit of burnout. That's a whole nother story, but it gave me some capacity to really do something. And I learned about Girls Inc. And like a lot of people, perhaps I didn't know about Girls Inc. It's an incredible organization, but I had never heard of it. And I attended an event here in San Diego, and I was just blown away by their mission. And when they asked me to join the board, I actually finally had a little bit of breathing room in my own life to be able to do that. So that was, almost 5 years ago. And it's just been such an honor and privilege to be a part of this board with some incredible women really working to make an impact. So really happy to be here with everyone today, even though I have no hair.
Thank you, Melissa. Your art is more than your hair. We can feel you. Sandra?
Yes, first off, let me just say how grateful I am to have all of you in our corner, having a board of directors that, one, really connects with the mission and the vision of the work that we're doing, and two, really understands the organization so well. Both of you just demonstrated that. So I want to just say thank you and express how grateful I am for this partnership that we have as CEO and board. It's truly magical. What brought me to Girls Inc., honestly, is the culmination, the praxis of a very zigzaggy road in my life. On the professional and academic side, a background in anthropology, a deep desire to understand identity development, and then a very long career in youth development and education, combined with some work that I did internationally, both on the continent of Africa, in Southeast Asia, and in South America, working with young people who were displaced, forcibly displaced from their communities, and then understanding what they needed in order to see themselves as successful and break out of the cycle of despair or poverty by developing their own vision for themselves. And so these are the elements that really came together for me, that, here in San Diego, my hometown, when I brought these things together and I came across Girls Inc., I just knew this is where I need to be. This is the place for me. This is where all of those things come together and make sense, both philosophically, but in practice. And also, foundational to all of that is the fact that I myself am an immigrant, Latina Mexicana, born in Mexico, immigrated to this country when I was 8 years old, and did not become a citizen until I was 18 years old. So I spent the majority of my formative years here undocumented, half my family in San Diego and half my family in Mexicali, Baja California, going back and forth and struggling with what that meant for me and who I was and what I wanted to be and how I wanted to be successful, and understanding that even just that alone can create so many barriers for oneself. So Girls Inc. for me represented both my personal background, but also what I had done academically, professionally. And I'll share, Melissa and Andrea were on my hiring board. And when I went into that interview, I sat down and I said, I'm here. I am the person you've been looking for. I am your girl. Look no further. It was meant to be. I knew it the minute I saw it. So I'm in the right place at the right time. Very fortunate, and really love this work.
Well, you saying that worked and you're here. So I'll remember that for the next time I'm applying for something too.
It works.
Well, thank you for being here, Sandra. Thank you, Andrea and Melissa, for the work that you do. I know that I think Melissa mentioned a little bit about not knowing about the organization. I myself found out about Girls Inc. through a Google search. And I remember I was leading a women's employee resource group at the time, thinking I was looking for an organization that really embodied what we were trying to do. internally at my company then, and looking for, it was a women's employee resource group. And I was thinking, how can I find something that will really be worth the 8 hours that people wanted to invest on in their time, and that would partner with the community. So I'm glad I found Girls Inc. And it's been a very fulfilling journey, being on this walk and getting to meet you. And this is just a sample of our board. So if you're listening and you are not aware of Girls Inc., I hope you're going to walk away today with a little more understanding of what is behind the scene and what we're also doing for the girls. So let's move to a little more about why we are here today, International Women's Day. And I'm going to pass the ball to Melissa to give us a little bit of grounding there.
Oh yeah, I love doing things like this because you really learn new things about the people that you know so well. And Sandra, yes, I know good talent when I see it. Andrea and I were so excited to have you join. So we are here because International Women's Day is coming up, and it is March 8th. It is observed every year, and I didn't even realize it's been going on for well over a century. In fact, in 1911, over 1 million women and men attended rallies campaigning for women's right to work, vote, hold public office, and to end discrimination. So, and I guess in honor of suffragettes everywhere, the fight that they did to ensure we have the right to vote, just want to put a plug in to make sure that your voice is heard and that you do vote. And this year's theme for International Women's Day is Invest in Women and also Inspire Inclusion. And inclusion and equity is the cornerstone of the work that we do at Girls Inc. And you'll hear a little bit more about that. And in addition to International Women's Day on March 8th, the entire month of March, as you probably know, is Women's History Month. And so this gives us an opportunity each and every day to really amplify women's voices and elevate, the power that women have, but also to recognize we have a long way to go. And the fight is still on. So that's why we're here. And Girls Inc. of San Diego is here for all of it. And we're so glad that you're joining us today. So thank you for taking some time to learn a little bit more about what we do.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. And Girls Inc. is here. So let's transition to how all of these. So we just talked about International Women's Day, Women's History Month, and the long history of remembering and acknowledging these days. So why is it important to talk about girls and young women in the context of International Women's Day?
Yeah, I can speak a little bit to that. I mean, this is where it turns a little serious. Many of you may have remembered about a year ago, the CDC came out with a report that had some really dire statistics in it about our girls in the United States. So teen girls are experiencing record high levels of violence, sadness, and suicide risk. The data showed 3 in 5 teen girls in the United States reported feeling persistently sad or hopeless, which was double that of boys. And boys don't have it easy either, right? But girls are really in trouble here. And that was a 60% increase, that number of what it was before that when they did this survey, and the highest level reported over the past decade. So very serious. And in addition to that number, even more scary is that nearly 1 in 3 girls seriously considered attempting suicide. Again, that's up nearly 60% from a decade ago. And obviously, we want to just throw in there that in the United States, 988 is the suicide crisis lifeline. If anyone on this call, or if you know of anyone experiencing any sort of mental health crisis, 24/7, someone is there. So you can text or call 988. In addition to this, 1 in 5 girls has experienced sexual violence in the last year, and that also is up 20% since 2017, when the CDC first started monitoring this measure. And finally, 1 in 5 girls said that they had been the target of cyberbullying. That's double the number of boys reported. And I know this is an issue that none of us on this little screen even had to think about when we were in junior high. I can't even imagine, the pressures that girls are feeling. So, and we could talk about the dangers of social media, but that's another call, right? So I think that, we're going to put a link to this report in the chat if anyone would like more information. And we know these numbers are heartbreaking and they're serious. Girls, young women are our future, and they deserve better, frankly. And, many of you here listening are moms and dads and aunts and uncles of girls, and I can hear it in my own voice. This is scary. This is our girls, and so they deserve better. We be out there for them. We get it. Like, we also have those moments of turning on the news and just seeing what's happening in the world and just feeling hopeless, right? But we're here to tell you, we can't give up, right? We are here. The four of us are here. You're all here because we know that things can and must change in this country. And that's why we're here. And we need all of you. So you heard a little bit from our incredible CEO, Sandra Ainsley, and I'm going to turn it over to her to take this data that is frankly very frightening, and talk about the vision of what's possible when we all come together and support this next generation of strong, smart, and bold girls. So Sandra, I'll hand that over to you.
Thank you, Melissa, and thank you for having so much heart in the work that we're doing. It's so important that we're bringing our whole selves into this fight, if you will. It's such an important conversation that we're having, and we never want to start with these dire statistics or these scary stories, but these are the facts. And while these facts are very alarming, we cannot look away. We have to challenge ourselves to look directly at these issues. It can feel like we've made so much progress. We have the first woman vice president. There's many more areas of progress where we see more women CEOs, more women of color in the workplace. But the truth remains that these statistics are showing a different part of the story, a part of the story where girls are still really, really, really struggling despite some of that forward movement. So this is not the time to stop working towards this. It's not the time to stop working towards equity. This is the time to dig in and fight a little bit harder and dig a little bit deeper, and really look at what's happening and try to understand it so we can change that and change this dynamic. Broadly speaking, we need to build a brighter future for all girls. We need to ensure that women and girls' rights across all aspects of life are protected and upheld. It's the only way to make sure that we're going to have a prosperous and socially just economy, and that we're going to have healthy communities and a healthy planet for future generations. And it's important that we are promoting and advocating for education, leadership, and equality and opportunities. We need to create pathways that support inclusive and equitable access to education, all educational opportunities, and workforce pathways connected to those. And we need to create an environment where girls are thriving and where they have plenty of role models out there to look up to. So that's broadly, that's the vision. But coming back to the CDC report, Melissa, that you referenced, the CDC does call for very specific measures to mitigate these traumatic data. A few of those, or three of the main ones that they're recommending, is helping young people create a greater sense of connectedness to their school. Also making sure that girls can access wellness, mental health supports, and proper medical supports. And lastly, and this is a big one, and this is one that we're fighting for, and different states having different viewpoints on this. But this is providing quality, comprehensive health education. And that health education includes physical and emotional well-being, but it also includes reproductive health and other forms of self-care.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you for sharing that. I know we are not being all sat here, but they're hard facts that we need to know, because I think a lot of people don't know or are not able to connect these to how important and critical it is that we get on these right now. So thank you for sharing that data, and also for sharing how Girls Inc. of San Diego specifically is providing solutions to these, because we're not just talking about the problems here, we're talking about solutions around programming. Is there anything else you want to expand on that, in how Girls Inc. itself is addressing some of these?
Absolutely. For 50 years, Girls Inc. of San Diego County has been delivering holistic programming to girls in our communities, particularly in our underserved, underinvested communities, doing exactly those things that the CDC has outlined. We are ensuring that girls grow up strong, smart, and bold. And you hear that a lot. So, what does that really mean? Our strong programs are really centering around health and healthy choices. So, girls are making good choices for their emotional health, their mental health, and their physical health. That includes healthy relationships and healthy sexuality. Girls are smart. That means they're academically engaged. They're doing well in school. They have goals to attend college and they understand the pathways and they have the supports to achieve those goals. And they're bold. They're engaged with their communities. They're engaged with social change efforts. They're engaged with decision makers. They understand how change is made from a local, even from the school to your city to your county to state to national, where change happens and who's making those changes and how to get involved with that. And so for us, those are the three pillars that really make a strong and successful girl, young woman, and woman. So we're really focused on the whole girl, making sure we're addressing every aspect of a girl's life so that she can grow up strong, smart, and bold. And all of those three things together are creating agency across those critical areas of life. And it's providing them the supports as well as the access that they need to achieve those successes. And let me just add in here, to be clear that gender equity in this time, this is not a nice to have. This is a critical issue and it's an economic imperative. We know that the workforce of the future and the innovation economy is going to demand more technical, creative skills from our workforce. And we have to also be ready to prepare that workforce and to prepare young women of diverse backgrounds to be part of that workforce. Uh, Diversity in the workforce is going to be so important to innovation. So, diversity of thought, ideas, diversity of experiences and backgrounds. Those are the things that drive innovative thinking and drive innovation for our economy and ultimately drives profits. So, locally, we really want to be connected to our workforce and make sure we're preparing young women of diverse backgrounds for the workforce of San Diego, particularly in our region, but of course more broadly. And the rise of women is not the fall of men. So we're asking our male allies, get in this conversation with us. We really need you. This is an all hands on deck situation.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sandra, for that. And in case you are still not convinced that we do have a long way to go, I will drop some statistics in the chat, but I just want to read it off for those that don't have access to the chat. So in San Diego County, women ages 18 to 34 are the largest demographic living in poverty. This is my backyard here. Women make up only 28% of the STEM workforce. Women of color, only about 5%, right? And this is a big STEM hub right here in San Diego. And according to national statistics, we also have women having the lowest participation in the workforce than any other. Hispanic women having the lowest participation in the workforce than any other ethnicity. And this will all become even more applicable when Sandra talks in a little bit about the population that we serve. And women also, about the pay, earn an estimate 82 cents for every dollar that men earn. That's a big pay gap. Hispanic and Latina women earned an estimated 58 cents to a dollar. So glass ceilings may have cracks, but it still exists. When we talk about the workplace, when we talk about representation at work, it's still 62% white men, 13% men of color. 20% white women, 4% women of color. So all of these is just a key outline, a quick glimpse into what we are really dealing with here and why the work we are doing now will go a long way. And there's a lot of research that is also showing that if we keep going at the pace we are going, it's going to take us years, decades to level some of these fields, right? So we need to address these from early on. And Sandra, if you could just share a little bit, I mean, just based on the data and that I just talked about and how far we have to go. What does the demographic, who do you serve? Who does Girls Inc. of San Diego serve?
Sure. So we serve primarily Hispanic and Latina youth, approximately 42 to 50% Latina, followed by Black African American youth, anywhere between 22 to 28%, followed by Asian Pacific Islander youth, Middle Eastern, North African, around 7 to 9%, white Caucasian youth, 5 to 6%, and of course, multiracial, around 4%, Native American and Indigenous youth, about 1%. But what you can take away from that is we are serving primarily girls of color. And what these statistics don't tell you, but we do know anecdotally, is that most of our girls will be first generation to attend college.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that and for the work that Girls Inc. is doing. And you can find more details also on these in our annual report, which we'll be happy to share. And so let's move to action. We are so much to cover in a very short time, but let's talk about action. What can you do? And I'll let Andrea take that away.
Yeah, no, thank you, Lola. I mean, to put it simply, you can do exactly what I did. During my time as the Chief Operating Officer at BioCero, we invited girls of Girls Inc. to tour our facility. We introduced them to laboratory automation and provided them insight into what can be accomplished through the use of robotics in the lab. Each of your companies has something different to offer, a different experience in a different industry. So I would encourage all of your companies to offer internships. They create excitement about your organization. You are not only giving back and growing your connection and visibility within the community, you are creating opportunities for young people that are coming up in the workforce. So we ask that you support our work by being both an investor and a thought partner. Become a community leader by showing your company is investing in diversity and in the economic prosperity of our region. And I would encourage all of you to get involved. You can serve on a committee, become a board member. It is our responsibility as members of the community to support organizations like Girls Inc.
Thank you, Andrea. Thank you for making that choice, making that decision, and doing what you do, and also setting a huge example for us here. So one of the questions that I have here is one that I think nicely ties into that and also gives you a chance to share more for people that are joining us. So how can I get involved in Girls Inc. of San Diego, both as an individual and as a company?
Yeah, I can take that, Lola. So as an individual, like I mentioned before, you can participate as part of a committee. A lot of boards have committees, but Girls Inc. has committees as well, or as a potential board member. Right now, it's recruitment season for Girls Inc. So if you're interested in being a board member or serving on a committee, I would encourage you to reach out to myself, Lola, Melissa, or Sandra via LinkedIn for additional information. If your company wants to get involved, they can also become a corporate sponsor of Girls Inc., just like BioCero did when I was there. And of course, the easiest and quickest way that you or your company can make a direct impact is by donating directly to Girls Inc. of San Diego. And we can put the link in the chat as well for those of you that are able to make a donation.
Yes, absolutely. I will pull up a donation link and also how to get involved. But before we wrap up, I wanted to give Melissa and Sandra a chance. Is there anything you want to add? If there are people joining now that have more questions, that are trying to figure out how they can get involved, anything else you want to add?
I would just say, yeah, please feel free to link in to connect with me on LinkedIn. I absolutely love, talking to people about the opportunities here. Also, just a quick plug for our fourth annual She Leads event that happens every fall. It's September 26th this year. So we hope to see you there. Save the date. More to come on that. Lots of opportunities to really get involved and support women in San Diego.
A quick comment. Sorry, Sandra, just a quick comment about the picture that you all are seeing here. Girls Inc. has a Eureka program, which is a 3-week STEM-focused program at UCSD. And so I had the opportunity to go and greet all of the girls. So this is a picture from that day where everyone was given sweatshirts, because what I truly wanted is for all of these girls to feel as though they belonged. And, it was the typical teenage sweatshirt that everyone wears, and they really appreciate it. So this is one of my best pictures. I had so much enjoyment going to the college and seeing all the girls and having this experience. It was amazing. So I do appreciate Girls Inc. and the opportunity that this served.
And in case you can't tell, Andrea is in the picture. She does look like one of them, but she's wearing the strong, smart, and bold shirt. And I had to look to find her because, it's such a beautiful picture. I just love it. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.
Sandra, did you want to add something?
Yes, just a couple of things. I also wanted to include that we have an all-girl conference coming up in May. So if you are interested in getting involved with that as a corporate sponsor and or volunteers, that's coming up in May. It's 100 girls from across San Diego County coming together for one full day of learning and connecting around important topics. High school age girls. And also, as Melissa mentioned, in September, we'll be having our annual fundraiser where we will honor 3 women for their contributions to our community. That's She Leads, Strong, Smart, and Bold Women of San Diego. And then, of course, the Eureka program, which is our cornerstone STEM program. That is a 4-week intensive, all day, every day at UCSD, which also is a 5-year program. Starts with rising 8th graders and stays with that cohort until they are in their seniors in high school. We have great relationships with corporate partners working around our Eureka program and coming in as guest lecturers or providing field trip opportunities during that 4-week period. If that's something that's of interest, please reach out. That program, year 2, will launch in July, and we'd love to hear from you.
Thank you, Sandra, and thank you, everyone. So we shared a lot of things coming up for Girls Inc. The best way to stay updated and know what's happening, please follow Girls Inc. San Diego on LinkedIn first, but you can also connect with any of us. So Andrea, Melissa, myself, we represent a portion of the board. Our board is 3 times the number we have on the screen. We have some amazing women serving on our board, and we always love to chat, to share more about what a board service looks like, if that's something that is of interest, and also what we do at the back end to make sure that these programs are running smoothly all year long. So looking forward to conversations. I put Sandra's email up there. She's pretty quick at responding to emails, I will say. So that's why our email is up here, but you can also connect with us easily on LinkedIn, and any of us will be happy to chat with you. Thank you all for the well wishes on chats. We appreciate you joining. If you're watching this on replay and you have questions, send your questions via email, via LinkedIn, or drop it on the event as well, and we will be following up to provide a response. Thank you for joining us, and happy Women History Month. Happy International Women's Day to you all.
Thanks, Lola.
Thank you.
Thank you.